introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name's David Williams. I'm a senior designer at Red 5 Studios, and I've been working on FireFall for about 7 years.
7 years,
Yes.
wow. How can you keep it challenging?
Because it's such a big game, there's so many different aspects to the game, so many different features, and also we also change the game quite a bit. We're constantly talking to our players, and we've done a complete overhaul of both our crafting system and our progression system during the even just the last year and a half. We took the old system and completely threw it out and started a brand new system. So things are constantly changing, and it keeps the design process very exciting.
Okay, so what is the latest thing you've worked on?
Well, right now I've been working a lot on the monetization side of the game. So I've just spent actually the last 2 months working on a new vending machine so the players can either earn or buy tokens. They can put in the vending machine and then they get out a whole bunch of cool items like new war paints so they can paint their battle frame in different colors, maybe a new hat, maybe a new helmet. They can also get cool things like an entirely new skin for their battle frame. They can get new LGV motorcycle bikes. They can get glider pads and all sorts of fun stuff. So, and then making sure that it's a fun experience just to put in a token and bells and whistles go off and it's just kind of fun to use was a big part of it as well.
You told me that you also create weapons, things like that. Okay, what's the most fun thing to work on a weapon? What makes it so fun for you?
Well, with a weapon, there are so many variables that come into play. Some people prefer weapons that hit really hard. They want to knock a guy out with one shot. And some weapons, have a very high rate of fire. But our weapon system actually gives us about 40 or 50 different variables even before we figure out what happens when the bullet hits, right? So there's all these different variables that can be, tweaked and jiggered and all of those are available not only for the designers to build a gun that feels good to shoot, but also most of those variables are now, with our new crafting system, also turned over to the player. And creating that system where both the designers and the players are going to have input, and you want to make sure that the gun isn't too powerful or too loose or too bad or too terrible, is a very delicate balancing job, and that's where it's really satisfying as a designer to try to find those balance points where the player can have input and the designers have input, and you end up with a really fun weapon.
So when would you say that a weapon is good enough?
Never. It can always be made a little bit better. But one of the philosophies that we have with FireFall is that when it's good enough, you release it, and we put things that are not finished in the hands of the players. And so when I say that it's never finished, what I mean is we will put unfinished items and weapons and abilities and creatures into the beta. We want the players to try it out and tell us what's fun, what isn't, what works, this is too good, this isn't good enough. And then we can constantly change things over time and make each thing a little bit better. Our design philosophy is very much about iteration and making everything better a little bit every day.